Hey, I'm Louisa Shafia on ehow.com, and today I'm showing you how to make this pumpkin bread from scratch. I have some squash that I roasted off in the oven. This is kabocha squash, and I just roasted it in the oven at 450 for about an hour and a half until it was tender. And now I'm going to scoop it out and I'm going to make it into puree. Now this is the exact same kind of pumpkin puree that you would buy in a can at the store, but you don't have to. You can make it yourself. And it's got a lot of color, it's got a lot of flavor, and because it's so fresh and you make it yourself, it's got a lot of nutrients. Okay, so I've got this beautiful, vibrant squash in here, and I'm gonna puree this. Okay, and that's ready to go. You can see this puree looks really colorful, really beautiful. This is ready to cook with. Okay, so that's there. I'm going to start out by combining some melted butter and sugar. So I just whisk these together till they're smooth. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to combine my 3 eggs. With this wonderful pumpkin puree that I made. So I'm just gonna add this. And the reason why you wanna roast squash when you're gonna bake with it is because roasting keeps the squash really, really dry. So this looks really good. Okay, now I'm gonna whisk my pumpkin puree into my eggs. This is looking really good. Just wanna whisk it around until it's smooth. Okay, and now I can combine my pumpkin puree and eggs with the sugar and the butter. Okay, I've got my pumpkin mix here. I'm just about ready to combine my wet ingredients with my dry ingredients. So here's my flour, and I'm just going to add some of the usual suspects to my pumpkin bread batter. I've got cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Got some baking soda. I've got some baking powder. And I'm going to add just a dash of salt. Okay, so now I'm going to combine these. These are my dry ingredients. Looks great. Now I'm going to add the pumpkin puree and the eggs into my dry ingredients. Okay, so this looks well mixed. Last thing I'm going to add in here is some walnuts. I'm a big fan of nuts in my baked goods. So if you have almonds around, you could use almonds, you could use hazelnuts. So I'm just going to fold those in. It's got a really beautiful natural color, you can see that. So this is ready to pour into my baking pans. So this recipe makes enough for 2 loaves of pumpkin bread. Okay, so these are ready to bake in the oven at 350 for about an hour and 15 minutes, or until a knife inserted in the center comes out clean. And when it's finished, this is what it looks like. And now I get to taste this pumpkin bread. You can see all the nuts in there. The texture is really cool, and it's got a really light, fluffy kind of texture. You can see that. Tastes like nuts. Spices, it's warming. It's got really tender, but it's got a nice crispy texture out on the outside. Thanks for joining me. I'm Louisa Shafia. I'll see you next time on ehow.com.